in this video, I want to run through connections to the OPC UA server itself inside DeltaV. So this is not the client, this is basically the actual server itself. And I want to look at kind of connections effectively to the OPC UA server, right? So this is the OPC UA server. There's a number of different settings that you can put together with it. You can authenticate against it, and you can have like certificates and so on. And how I'm going to test it, there's an application that I wrote a number of years ago where it itself is a client. So basically, I developed this in C#. Inside Visual Studio, and in particular I wanted to become very familiar with the OPC UA, the OPC Foundation's OPC UA client library. So that means that you don't just simply authenticate. What you actually do is you actually provide certificates, and just I wanted to kind of get to my hands kind of on the tools in that area. So the first thing anyway that you'll see here is that there's an address first of all. And essentially, usually it's the machine name itself, as you can see here, or it's the actual IP address followed by a port. If I want to go off and then take a look, say, at the status of the OPC UA server in DeltaV, here I can see that it's running. It has no actual clients, you know what I mean, with it. I'm using this on a separate, this is me remoting into an actual machine that's running DeltaV, but this is actually the application is running on my own PC at the moment. And essentially what I can do is I can go off and I can kind of browse for it. So I'll do that now, and what I'll do is I'll type in the IP address, as you can see up above, 192.168.1.87, and then what I can do is I can go off and I can browse, and here you'll see that there's the actual OPC UA server itself is being shown here. And then what I can do is I can go and I can connect to it. And here what you'll see is a certificate. So the actual the actual DeltaV OPC UA server is giving me a certificate that I as a client have to accept. Here in this case, then I won't go too much into it now, it's kind of a complicated area, but I can give it back a certificate if it was actually required. So here I can see that I'm actually connected, and here what you can see again is that there's actually one connected session. This is this particular application here. So what I can do is I can go off and I can browse, and here you see DA, and the way that DeltaV works with regards to the OPC UA server function that's there, the OPC DA server is still actually running. It's that someone has written essentially a service to run where it's a wrapper around the OPC DA functionality. So I can go off and I can essentially, I can go off and I can find an item here, and just to kind of show and prove kind of that it works, what I'll actually do is I'll go off in the DeltaV Explorer. I'll have the DeltaV Explorer open, and what I might do is I'll open this control module here, and I will essentially, I'll open them online. So that's basically, yeah, this particular guy opened up. And maybe what I'll do is I'll just have this particular guy here, this rec SP. So he's currently set at 0. And then from this application here, I can actually browse the OPC server for variables. So here he is actually here, this rec SP guy. I go in, I'll give him a click. I'm going to just click on this guy here. I'm going to just copy, do a Control-C. So I can browse all of the variables. I could do this in a lot of detail. Here maybe I'll go into tag read. So what I'll do is I'll just put in the address. I'll do a read. He says 0. I see he's 0 over here. What I'll do is I'll just put the address in again, and I'll put, say for example, the value of 1. I'll write it. And here we can see he updated in real time. Okay, so with this application, I can take a look at multiple values, and I can look at it subscribing as well to the OPC UA server, where there's kind of like a service running in the background to verify C values over time, and so on. So this is kind of just kind of an overview there of that. What I'll do is I'll just I'll disconnect, and I'll just close this guy down there. And what I want to cover essentially is the whole idea of the actual certificates that are available with this, and how important authentication is. So I created that application and I'm over a network, and I can simply just explore the network, and I can basically see, I can see all the variables and so on. And if I had written a piece of software that was a malicious piece of software, some form of a virus or malware, however kind of you want to describe it, it's vitally important to lock down the network, for that reason. So the settings that are the ones that are of most importance, really, when you hover over here, you literally want to go in and you can say, right here, what do I have set up in terms of the actual encryption, right? So here you can see that there's no security settings that are actually in place. Realistically, for any system, they actually should be. It's just like there's an awful lot of, I suppose, implementations of OPC servers such as Kepware or others, where the anonymous authentication is down, and it really, really shouldn't be. I think in terms of when you go into look at the actual properties themselves, here we can see there's anonymous login. It shouldn't be like that. Then we can have the optional username and password. That's basically there as well. It should realistically, anonymous should be locked out. In terms of the actual I suppose clients then that you can look at, you can actually have trusted clients themselves, and that's kind of it's where you would actually have details such as an IP address and a MAC address and so on. You can actually just have it set that that only certain clients can effectively come in and read at all. So certainly that's definitely the way that I want to go. Okay, thank you very much.